Hey guys, welcome back to Let's Play Donkey Kong 64 with glitches. In this video I'm going to go fight the final boss of the game, King K. Rool, and that's actually pretty fun to do. It's a very creative fight. I've said before that I think probably a lot of the things at the end of this game were designed before the things at the start, because it really does seem to get a lot better towards the end with things like Fungi Forest and Creepy Castle in this fight. So the fight takes place in a boxing ring. This guy's gonna introduce everyone, I'm not gonna listen to him. Looks like a pretty typical Rare character with the big eyes and everything. And here's the king. The king that I'm gonna dethrone soon. You might notice already that he has a hole in his shoe. That's gonna be useful in probably about 10 minutes. Look at this idiot, he walks right under him, of course he's gonna land on you. At least it gave a pretty funny animation though. He is totally saying thank you. That is all he's saying. Here's a couple of Kremlings, one of them's not even looking the right way. And they're gonna save King K. Rool's ass for a long time during this fight, and that's gonna be pretty unfair to the Kongs, but it's not that big of a deal. So the first part of the fight involves Donkey Kong. Basically there's 5 parts of the fight, one with each Kong. So for this one I'm going to climb up to the top of this pole, and when the third one hits me, the third shockwave, I'm going to jump up and hopefully land in the barrel right as it appears. So that's 2. And that one's 3. Okay, cool, so I'm going to shoot him as soon as I can. Oh, a little bit late, but no big deal. So now I have to run around and do the same with the other 3 barrels. This one's pretty easy, and it's pretty fun. So he's going to punch me 5 times. I'm going to fire. Yeah, as you can tell, I've already checked how many punches I need to wait for. This one's going to be 3. 1, 2, 3. So just one more left for DK's phase. Oops. This is going to be 7 punches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And that's DK's phase over already. Pretty easy, but actually quite difficult for that last hit if you don't know when to shoot, because the window that you have is actually really small. Which is why the best thing to do is to just count the amount of punches that he does. So here's Diddy's phase. This is probably the hardest one out of all of them, to be honest. It involves the jetpack, which means it's just going to be crappy no matter what. But it can be over pretty quickly if you know what you're doing. First of all, he's going to shoot his gloves at me that behave like the magic boomerang from Oracle of Seasons somehow. Just going to jump in this, and I'm going to jump in this first, I guess. I guess I'm not allowed to. Okay. So the idea is you're supposed to knock these lights down, and they fall on his head, and it's pretty funny. Like this. You just do this 4 times without getting knocked down, hopefully, and you're good. It's a good thing to just hold your position in the air and just keep firing at it until the targets appear. You actually can hit the one on the other side through this box. You don't actually have to go around, but it doesn't always work. I think you have to be positioned pretty close to it or something. So yeah, something you want to avoid here is landing on top of this fixture in the ceiling, because if that happens, you're going to lose your jetpack, obviously. You're going to have to go down and get another one. It's no big deal, obviously, but if this was a speedrun, that would be terrible. And it's also just frustrating to have to spend extra time here, because this phase really sucks, actually. Okay, so he's getting pretty relentless with the glove throwing. So just one more left to do. Oh, come on, there's no way I was too high. That was totally connecting. So yeah, I have 3 melons, so I'm pretty good for this whole fight, I think. Your health actually refills at the start of every phase, so I'm not going to be worried about that at all. It's really hard to die even with 2 melons, as long as you know what you're doing, of course. Saved by the Bell again, pretty awesome show. So this is Lanky's phase. It's a pretty silly one, which is, I guess, appropriate for Lanky Kong. first thing I'm going to do is just wait here, because there's nothing you can do at the start of this fight. You gotta wait for these things to appear over here. And when these buttons do appear, you can hit them and it makes a barrel appear which has a banana peel in it. So I can throw this when the game lets me. And I'm going to let him go by because I'm scared. And the idea is that you play your instrument, it brings him over here, and well, you can guess what's going to happen. Although I'm not so sure it will happen because this banana peel is a little off center. Yep, we're good. Awesome. So you just have to do that 4 times, but his pattern can be kind of crappy. Sometimes he just runs right in front of you, and you really don't want him to hit you when you're holding the barrel like I just had happen, because now I'm stuck. Hopefully I can get him to hit it still, but I'm not so sure. No, there's no way. Oh well. But at least the barrel reappears when that happens. But I'm gonna just let him go past me first. His hitbox is really, really big. What I want to do is throw it down. It's good to have it near the switch, not that near. God damn. But when it's near the switch, he's pretty much going to hit it no matter what, because the banana also has a reasonably big hitbox. So yeah, like he's pretty much touching me, but he still hit it. I'm going to take damage here, but it's no biggie. I can just run out. So 2 more to do. Same idea. I'm going to let him run past me because I don't want to get hit. This is actually the only part of the whole game which absolutely requires an instrument. Like there are certain glitches you can do to finish the game really quickly while skipping pretty much every banana except for a couple. And the only instrument you actually need for the whole thing is Lanky's, and it's because of this fight. So this one I'm just going to throw in the middle because the instrument pad is all the way... Oh, I'm at the wrong part. Like seriously, the last one I tried was the right one. So I'm just going to wait for him, and... Wow, I thought I was on it. Alright, hopefully this is going to work. He's pretty much touching the banana peel right now. I don't think you can slip on it unless you start this cutscene though. So he's going to get saved by the Kremlings again. Pretty lame. But they can't do this forever, so it's okay. So coming up next is Tiny's phase. This is the longest phase, and just to make things even worse, there's a long cutscene before it. But it's okay. It's just these guys trying to help the king out. I don't know how they're able to do this. Like how this one guy can pull him so well when he's like 30 times the size of him. But whatever. He still has the thing on from Diddy's phase, so it's finally going to come off. And we're going to take advantage of that hole in his shoe. I think you can pretty much guess what's going to happen in this phase. It's Tiny Kong, there's a small opening somewhere. We should be used to that by now. Thank you too, K-Rool. This guy's going to talk again, I'm going to not listen to him again. So, here we go. Right off the bat, you just have to avoid his shockwaves as usual. These shockwaves actually do lag the place a lot. If I were to like point the camera outside the ring during this time, it would make it a little bit faster, I guess, because there's less lag on screen, but this isn't a speedrun, I don't really care about that stuff right now. Just gotta avoid these. And there's the barrel, as we expected, and I can run inside his shoe. So the object of this one is pretty much to tickle him to death. Well, not getting hit by his toes. They actually have a set pattern, so it is possible to just memorize this, but it's kind of tricky to do. That one only took 1 hit. The next time I go in, the second toe is going to take 2 hits, the third one's going to take 3, and the last one's going to take 4. So, you know, it can take a long time to do this part of the fight. It's definitely the most drawn out part of it. But I guess it does keep you on your toes, so it's not really that boring, I suppose. mean, he did that to himself, like by bouncing up and down so much. He's basically winning the fight for me. Oops, oh god. It's okay, I've got so much health, and like I said, it refills after every phase, so I really don't have much to be worried about here. Oops. Oh, he didn't hit me. I'm too quick. So that's 2 done. For some reason this like does more damage than when he like falls on his butt and then grabs it. I don't know. Oops, how did that hit me? Hit detection, strikes again. And yeah, his hitbox is still really big right now. It's still very easy to... Well, I landed right in that. That's awesome. Yeah, it's still very easy to take damage from him. So, just avoiding the toes as usual. I feel like this section would be a bit easier if the camera was like directly facing his feet instead of at this weird angle. I don't know. My reaction time is not great, so it's very easy for me to get hit here, regardless. Oops, going for the double. So one more hit on this toe. You can't leave either, you're stuck in this like this one axis. Oops. Well, it's no big deal, I've got so much health left. Another 9 hits where I have to die. Can Tiny climb these poles? Oh, she can, I never knew that. I mean, like, I shouldn't be surprised. Obviously she can climb stuff, but there's like no need for anyone but DK to climb them, so I never considered it. He's moving a little faster right now, but it's pretty much the same stuff. This will be the last hit. So, usual stuff, just gotta survive. Pretty sick of this phase, to be honest with you. Why isn't that hitting? Wow, what the fuck? Why didn't it connect? This game... Well, it's going to be over soon anyway. I won't be able to complain about it anymore. Never seen that happen though. I was aiming right at it. Did that just happen again? I can't tell. No, I think he made the noise, so I think it connected. Oops. Bad reaction. Okay, cool. It did connect, so that's him done. That's Tiny's phase over. And he's just been tickled so much that he can't handle it anymore. And that somehow knocks him out, which is fine by me, because now we get to move to the most fun part of the fight. And the only part that really resembles an actual boxing match. You can probably guess what we're going to do here. It's going to involve the Primate Plunge, but this is DK64, so of course they've, you know, artificially lengthened it before that by trying to fit in as many of Chunky's moves as they can. But it all ends pretty well, so I'm okay with it. First thing we got to do is hit this switch. It's a blue switch, which means it requires Super Simian Slam, but not Super Duper Simian Slam for some reason. And gotta turn invisible now. And then we have to turn Hunky Chunky. And then we can finally hit him. So I'm just gonna wait for him to get close to me, then I'm gonna punch. It was almost too early there, I think, but I got it. So, second phase, same thing, hit switch, turn invisible, and so on. Usually he tries to run in the middle when I go for the barrel, but whatever. So I'm just going to punch him right before he hits me again. Two more hits left on this guy, as you can tell by the fact that there's 4 pads for turning invisible. Oops. Wow, see, his hitbox is smaller when he's invisible, I guess. I don't know. Why did I try and pound that? I don't know anything about this game. So for this one, I'm going to hit him as soon as his shadow moves, because he's invisible now. And that times it perfectly. So Just one more hit to do, and K. Rool will be out for the count for the 5th time. But it will be the last one. Yeah, now he's going for the middle, but that's okay. So he's going to move right, left, right, left. When he hits left the 2nd time, I'm going to punch. So right, and left. And that is K. Rool defeated, and that is also Donkey Kong 64 completed with 101%. Let's just enjoy this victory music for a minute. And Chunky is the real victor here. He's the one that finally finished them off. Which is just evidence that he's obviously the best Kong out of the 5. Look at this guy going for a cheap shot. Fight's already over. Just face it. Thank God for us, he's a pervert. I mean, this is just getting a little weird now. This is like some interspecies stuff right here. It's kind of understandable with the other Kongs, but it does mean that K. Rool is going to do some really funny animations, I suppose. Look at him, just clawing at her. He's such an animal. He's going to get what he deserves in a second. I guess Chunky didn't really finish this fight, and someone else is going to finish it in just a second. Someone that you can't play as. Here's Funky with his boot launcher, coming to save the day. For some reason this sends him straight upwards, but that's fine. I guess there'd be no other way for him to exit this little ship. I don't know why Funky couldn't have given us that gun. That would have been really helpful for a lot of the bosses. So now he's back in K. Lumsey's house, even though K. Lumsey left that place when he brought the ship down in the cutscene that we never saw. So yeah, I don't know, but no complaints here. Finally got what he deserved. And DK Isles is safe once more. All the bananas have been returned, and K. Rool is out of here. There's the banana fairies that I took pictures of. Somehow that corresponds to saving them. And now that I have saved all of them, I've actually unlocked all of the cheats in the game. Well, I call them cheats. I guess they are cheats. In fact, I think they're labelled as such, but it's more like rewards for doing all of that. Things like infinite crystal coconuts, infinite oranges and stuff like that. Not exactly useful after you've already finished the game, but if you want to go back and test some stuff as a speedrunner or glitcher, then it's helpful. And here's Candy, striking some poses for the camera, in a game that somehow is E-rated. Diddy's not going to fall off of that, even though it's like 45 degrees. The Candy Kong here is like completely different from the one in the show for Donkey Kong. I don't know how many of you guys will have seen that, but in the late 90s there was a show that was completely computer generated for Donkey Kong. It was called Donkey Kong Country, like the games. And I watched it when I was a kid. It was pretty good, I guess. I think I only really watched it because it was about video games, or video game characters, but Candy is nothing like what she is in the games in it. She's like, I think she's still DK's girlfriend, sort of, I don't know. But she's like intelligent and actually does things. I mean, I guess I don't know that this Candy isn't intelligent. I'm probably just being presumptuous there, but she doesn't really do anything here except pose and give you instruments. Funky always has different guns with him. He's like one of those guys that has a million guns just in case the government starts anything. But I guess it helped us out in the final battle, so I'm not going to complain. Some pretty slick moves there. Here's the banana horde with everything that we collected and a couple ones that he's already eaten on the ground. So I guess we're down to like 198 or something. somehow Cranky got up here, even though he's really old and this place is really high up and you can't get up to it without climbing a tree and going over vines. But I'm being totally pedantic right now. It's the ending. Let's just enjoy it. I wonder if the rare banana's in there. The special 201st one that we got. Yeah, this animation's always kind of bothered me. I don't know. So it's just something that apes do. Play with their feet. It makes such a weird sound when he does it too. All that lever pulling must have worn him out. The most ghetto looking banana pile in the world. It's pretty much, I don't know, it's like a bunch of boxes on top of each other with bananas drawn on the outside. How could Cranky like allow this to happen? He's probably going to have a heart attack from all the excitement. This is the furthest he's come out of his hut in so long. In fact, it's the only time in the game he ever comes out of there. Here's Squawks, he was really helpful to us. Not. Here's the seal, who I raced and decimated in Gloomy Galleon. And here's Trough and Scoff, who I didn't feed a single banana to. And yet somehow he's still really fat, even though he really only gets fatter when you give him the bananas. I like this ending though, the music's really nice. It's a cool spin on the DK Isles theme. Wonder what this is all leading up to. Oh, there's Lanky. I was wondering where he got to. He was at the highest point in the whole area. So yeah, DK in the sky. And because I finished the game with 101%, we get to see this extra bonus ending. Normally the game would have ended here and went back to the title screen. But we now get to see this extra footage, which looks completely absurd until you realise what's going on. So yeah. So Donkey Kong 64. Fun game to do with glitches. I've really had a lot of fun playing through it. And yeah, I don't know. I don't really know what else to say. It's not as good of a game as Banjo-Kazooie, but for this kind of playthrough, it's much better than Banjo-Kazooie. It's probably the biggest compliment I can give it, to be honest. There are things about it that I do like. The music is excellent, but there's many things about it that, when you play the game casually, aren't that great. I mean, let's be realistic here. There's a lot of repetition. Most of the stuff is really, really easy, but then there's like a couple of things that are really, really hard and very out of place, like Beaver Bother, the Nintendo coin. They just really couldn't keep their consistency up the whole way, but that's okay, I suppose. Many of the levels are pretty fun. They're okay. You know, some of them are pretty dull, like Caves and Galleon, but most of them are alright. Only one or two of them I would say are really good. Fungi and Castle probably, and Helm as well was really good. But an awful lot of collecting to do. Much of it seems pointless. But if you play the game the right way, then I think you can find enjoyment out of it. I certainly have. I never used to like this game at all, until I decided that maybe I could play it like this, and maybe I could do speedruns of it. And now I think it's a lot of fun. So now we see that this whole thing was actually just like a movie that Cranky was directing. This whole sequence here is actually really weird. It's like the audition process or something for the game. And there's some really strange stuff that happens in it. I guess this is also part of the reward for getting 101%. Not really so sure I would call it a reward, because it's, like I said, it's very uncomfortable at times, but let's watch anyway. Look at those cool moves. It's no wonder he got cast. So wait, Tiny knew how to do that move before Cranky even taught her? Wow. They really are good actors. He sounds like a Gorin from Majora's Mask, doesn't he? He totally does. And that Kremling had the wrong voice. He sounded like the... what is it? The clock thing from Fungi Forest. Here's those starfish that give you a lot of trouble in Gloomy Galleon. Definitely one of the worst enemies in the game. I guess they've got a useful purpose here. There's a golden beaver. I don't think those ever actually appear in the main game, but if you hang out on the title screen for like a minute or so, sometimes they appear in the background. Is he saying next? I can't tell. Kinda sounds like it. Oh yeah, this is like the weirdest part of it. It has a bunch of the girls from the game all together with the candy theme playing. And, I mean, it wasn't that weird until Tiny was in there. She's like 10 or something. What is up with this scene? It's messed up. Oh well. It only lasts a couple of seconds. Look at these guys. Look at this guy with his jaw open. He's in paradise right now. But whatever, it's pretty funny, I suppose. Here's DK and Kiro playing like they're children in the schoolyard. Ah yes, here's the golden beaver. And a really big golden beaver. And they look pretty bothered. Wait, so DK could pull a lever all along? He didn't need a potion to do it? Wow. I never saw that coming. Okay then. And that's that. That is DK64 101% completed, and I'm going to prove that as if the ending wasn't enough proof in just a second. Let's not sit through the rap. I didn't sit through it at the start of this playthrough, I'm not going to sit through it now. So the file I started on was file 3. And as you can see, 101%, 201 bananas, a very long time, probably longer than the total summation of all the video lengths, but sometimes before recording a section I would just sit in the game, maybe practice a couple things before I actually got to the main part, so, or I would just like leave it on, but be doing something elsewhere. But yeah, it's done now. Everything has been finished. Let's just run around for a couple seconds, I guess. Just bask in the glory of finishing this game completely. So, yeah, this has been my first series like this. I am absolutely planning to do more. Thank you guys so much for all the support, the kind words, and the constructive criticism that I've received. I was pretty nervous when I posted the first video because I wasn't really sure at all if it would be received well, but I was thrilled to find out that it was. People have been very supportive, and from what I can tell they've really enjoyed this series, which is awesome. That's completely what I was going for. I hope I've been able to accurately demonstrate just how broken this game is and how it can actually make it a lot more fun to play, at least in my opinion, to break the game to this point. To do things out of order and to do them faster than you're supposed to, and to just basically say, you know what, screw you DK64, I don't like how big of a collectathon you are, I don't like the repetition, so I'm going to make it fun myself by finding all these exploits. Not that I found them myself, of course, but like, yeah, it's just good that you can like add replayability to games just by looking for other stuff in them. And this game's a great example of that. So yeah, thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you in the next series. Bye.